Good morning, Wabash. Speaking in chapel this morning will be Professor Timothy Lake. Professor Lake is an Indiana native. He was born in Fort Wayne. He attended Ball State University, where he graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Speech Communication. He completed a Masters of Religious Studies from Howard University in Washington, D.C., and a Masters of Systematic Theology from the University of Notre Dame. He joined Wabash College after completing his Ph.D. in American Cultural Studies at Bowling Green State University in Ohio. He is currently an associate professor in the English department. Recently, he joined the Wabash Center for Teaching and Learning in Theology and Religion. He is currently in his 10th year here at the college. Please help me greet Professor Timothy Lake with his talk titled Shh.
Shh can be a request for silence, as in shh, be quiet. It can be a warning to be on the lookout, as in shh, watch out. It can also be a sign of a request for secrecy, as in shh, don't tell. I don't really think of shh as a word per se, but it is a word that conveys certain kinds of meaning in tonal and in context, so that the word shh can only really be understood by its tonal inflection and within the particular context in which it is uttered. Shh, hush, shh, be quiet, shh, pipe down, shh, zip it. What makes shh problematic is that it connotates a bid for power and authority on the part of the shher. When we shh someone, we are in a sense attempting to seize control over the communicative liberty of the other. It is a power move. Don't speak. Don't tell. Listen up. While we can argue that language itself is about control in parts, it is an attempt to imbue signs and symbols with meaning that is always already contestable. The thing about shh, however, is that it exposes language as a bid for power that is otherwise cloaked in custom, gestures, and phrasing. Excuse me, would you mind lowering your voice? There are children in the room. How about this one? Can you see that? I can see that you're getting upset, so I'll just avoid the conversation. And how about this one? Well, if you're going to take that type of language, then I'm not going to have a conversation with you. You get my point. Shh is raw. It doesn't mask the power grab that the conservative tendency in language. For all of its insistence, shh is really a sign of weakness and fear. It signals a desire to end dialogue and debate, to retreat to the corner of silence and status quo. What is also interesting about shh is that it often does not have to be spoken at all. For instance, I recall as a young person when me and my siblings would play in the house and we would get too loud, and we would often get too loud. My mother didn't need to say shh to us at all, but rather she would just give us that look. And we would adjust our volume. My mother had the unspoken shh. The unspoken shh is really also reveals in the times when we are told to turn down the television. Say, for example, someone enters into your dormitory or your residence hall while you're watching TV, and if you're polite, you turn the TV down to engage in conversation. Or say, for example, Dean Raiders is at your door, you turn things down or off. So it's unspoken also. I recall that Michael Jackson's video of Black and White in 1991. It's a music video where a boy, played by Colin McCalkin, is in his upstairs bedroom playing air guitar with the music blasting. The father, George Wendt, is downstairs watching TV, but can't because the music coming from upstairs is so loud. He barges into his son's room. "I thought I told you to turn that music off. It's too late and it's too loud." The boy protested, "But Dad is getting to the best part." And the father says, you are wasting your time with that garbage. Now go to bed." And then he slams the door. The boy pulls out his real electric guitar, hooks it into two gigantic floor-to-ceiling speakers, and as he prepares to strum the guitar, he says, "Eat this." The next scene shows the dad being launched through the roof of the house into outer space while sitting in his lazy boy. The most disconcerting thing about should, however, is that those in power rarely use it. It is mostly the language of the underdog, the marginalized, the poor, and the oppressed. And they usually direct it towards each other. Why is this so? Well, I think it has something to do with the naked power play in deploying the gesture. If you have power and you tell someone who is more or less powerful than you to shh it, the threat or the coercion is even more potently implied in the gesture. Let me try to make myself clear. Let's say that student X is in the hallway of Center Hall making some noise right outside of the president's meeting room. The door opens and President presents himself in the hallway and says, "Shh." That gesture carries a lot more weight to it, a more gravity to it, than per se if same student X and student Y are having a conversation in the same location, and student A walks up and tells the two students, "Shh." Not so much power there, is it? Let me be clear. So when the president says, "Shh," then he stands at risk of actually having to deploy power to silence you. And if you don't zip it, then the president will be in a dilemma. He'll have to either do something concretely and specifically to coerce you into complying to his will or his demand, or he will have to acquiesce to your own liberty and your freedom to speak whenever and however you choose. If the president actually enacts power, he runs the risk of seeming petty or, at worst, abusive. So you can see people with power have to be more careful when deploying shh. In fact, they rarely say it at all. Let me summarize what has been said so far. I have argued that should is not like other speech in that it doesn't cloak the power dynamic at work already within our language system. I went on to argue that should's meaning is contingent on the tone and the context in which it is spoken. I have claimed that should is conservative in that it aims to interrupt debate, and also that it is mostly a vernacular of the weak and the less privileged. Finally, I argue that should, when used by those in power and privilege, is more threatening than when used by the less powerful and less privileged. By now, some of you are asking yourself, what the shh is this all about? Well, I'm glad you asked. Lately, I've been really thinking hard about why things are so quiet on campus. Oh, I know that there is a lot of noise here. There is a lot of chatter going on. But in all the talk and conversation, I've not heard a mumbling word in our public discourse on Jenna Six, Trayvon Martin, Michael Dunn, Michael Brown, Eric Gardner, or any of the other black lives killed by police. 1 in every 2 or 3 days. That's more lynchings, more frequent lynchings than those black bodies we saw swaying from southern trees during the era of Jim Crow. I haven't heard anyone say publicly, hands up, don't shoot, or I can't breathe, or Black Lives Matter. Who has you? Where are the vigils for the Palestinians? Who has you? Where are the memorials for the beheaded victims of ISIS? Who has you? Who will pen a letter of mourning for Kayla Mueller, the American aid worker from Arizona who was dead, whose death was confirmed by ISIS kidnapping recently? Who will mourn her publicly here? Who has you? Okay, so you say Arizona is too far and it's out of our range, but what about that Indiana native, that Indianapolis native, who was a Butler alum, who was beheaded by ISIS, Peter Karras? Who you? Do we still hold public celebrations of Martin Luther King Jr. at Wabash College? Who has you? Can we have some sort of public applause for the foot soldiers of the civil rights movement during this, the 50th anniversary of the passing of the Civil Rights Act, the most sweeping civil rights legislation since Reconstruction? Is there anyone willing to talk out loud in praise of peace and nonviolence in our world? Who has you? Make no mistake about it. We are living in some of the most troubling times this nation, indeed this world, has ever seen. In the light of day, we are witnessing horrendous acts of hatred and murder. We've seen shootouts on the public streets in the kosher deli in Paris that left many people dead. An extremist group in northern Nigeria killed over 2,000 people, an entire village. A little boy was shot down in the public parks in Cleveland, Ohio, by a policeman who had been deemed unfit for service. Patrice Collar, co-founder of hashtag Black Lives Matter, says, the hashtag itself arose out of a place of grief and sorrow. She says that it was not only the killings, it was the constant harassment and terror. It was the levels of unemployment and homelessness. In that of all of the people on the planet, we are incarcerated at the highest rate. Michelle Alexander, author of the best-selling book, The New Jim Crow, Mass Incarceration in the Age of Colorblindness, writes, it is common to hear people say racial progress has been made, but we still have a long way to go. She goes on to say that in reality, we are no longer traveling the same road as Ella Baker and Martin Luther King Jr. Our nation has slashed budgets for education, training, economic development, and drug treatment while investing billions in prisons and militarized police. Penal systems unprecedented in the world has been born. Millions have been arrested and stripped of basic rights. But outside the hollow walls of this chapel and beyond the campus grounds of Wabash College, people are not keeping quiet. Though some may wish them to shh, they will not be silent. They are talking. In homes, they are gathering. At Harvard Yard, even, they are talking and gathering together. At even Purdue University, down the road, they are talking and staging die-ins. In neighborhoods and cities across the country, and even internationally, people of all colors are marching in the streets and shouting, "Black Lives Matter." Little white boys are marching in the street carrying placards that read, "Will you shoot me?" Sonny Houston's CNN's host and legal analyst tells us that they are organizing and galvanizing on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. What they are doing is unprecedented. Indeed, it is like nothing we have ever seen. The hashtag Eric Gardner tweeted 274,000 in 7 days. The hashtag I Can't Breathe tweeted 484,000 in 7 days. The hashtag We Can't Breathe tweeted 18,000 in 7 days. These people are socially media savvy, and they are fully awake. And Columbia University professor Farah Jasmine Griffin is right here. She says, "They are beautiful." She writes, "I believe that we are witnessing the birth of a new beauty, the birth of a people engaged in a movement." Professor Griffin continues, "These young activists come from a generation that have been written off by far too many. They inherited unsafe communities, they have been allowed to languish in failing schools, and made fodder for the criminal justice system. Come closer to home, their own elders have too often dismissed them by claiming them apathetic, materialistic, lacking in ambition. Their language, their music, even their sartorial choices have been under attack. And now, there they stand, bold and brave, marching to build a more just future. They have taken to the streets. They have borne witness to the world. And in so doing, they have ushered in the next phase of the Black freedom struggle. We owe them our gratitude, love, and political, emotional, and financial support." She concludes, "They are brilliant, courageous, and oh so beautiful." When will you raise your beautiful voices? Will beauty be born everywhere but here? Can you breathe? Shh. Will you forever sing "Dear Old Wabash," but never say "Black Lives Matter"? Shh. I think I can hear the faint cries of beauty being born.
All right, a few announcements. Swimming is away starting today throughout the weekend at the NCAC Championships. Wrestling is at home tonight in Chadwick Court versus Trine at 7 p.m. Tonight at 8 p.m. in Center Hall is a fictional reading by E.J. Levy. Track is away this weekend at multiple locations. Good luck to them. TJF will be at Thadadel. Friday night, there is an SCAC event in Salter Hall at 7 p.m., which is a comedian named Miss Pat, so come check that out. Wrestling, tennis are all away this weekend. Lacrosse will be playing their first ever NCAA varsity game at Fontbonne University. And at 3 p.m. on Saturday, basketball will be home against Denison. Sunday, Wabash is hosting the Special Olympics basketball tournament in the Allen Center. If you're interested in volunteering, please contact Greg Sklar. Everyone have a great Valentine's Day weekend, and please join me in singing Old Wabash.